What we're going to talk about again is in this lean concept, less work, more value. So the idea here is that using smart barcodes, we can navigate the system very easily without doing the non-value steps. So if you notice in the first section, what we did is I walked up to a bin. So just imagine your warehouse being labeled with bins, and you walk up to a bin, scan the smart barcode, and I don't know if people notice this in the beginning, but from the main menu, I scanned this barcode and it said, oh, what you want to do is you want to know what's in this bin. So it says, okay, here's a list of everything that's in the bin. I didn't have to go to the menu option of inventory and then do a bin lookup and then enter the bin and take me to the screen. I could do that, but I don't have to. So smart barcodes makes it very, very lean for you to get anywhere in the system. So, you know, kind of our concept, the underlying concept is that people in the warehouse are very busy. They're moving things, very fast moving type environment. If you tell them to do 7 or 8 or 9 steps for every process, it's going to be that the adoption rate is going to be very low. It's going to be very difficult to adopt. If it's very fast, scan this barcode, enter quantity, and you're done. It makes it very, very easy to adopt. So let's talk about pallets for a second. What I'm going to do is, a pallet is something you have kind of a license plate for a number of items. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to scan this pallet tag. Okay, so again, a pallet tag is a smart barcode. So it said you scanned a pallet. So I'm going to go into the pallet inquiry screen, and I'm going to pull up pallet number 5. Very easy, right? So now it's in the Denver location, in the freezer, and there's one item on it. Now with a pallet, we can have multiple items, multiple lots, one item, multiple lots, or just in this case, one item. So you can put whatever you want to on a pallet. So people use pallets for staging, for picking purposes, for production staging, and even for finished goods. A lot of times people produce stuff onto pallets, they shrink wrap them, and put them in the warehouse. So pallets are very, very flexible, very, 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 very useful. So we can add items onto a pallet, unload a pallet. We can move this pallet, which we're going to do in just a second, and copy it, or we can take a look at what's on it. So in this case, we have one item, cranberry lemon, and we have 5 on this pallet. Okay. Again, we can adjust, we can print a report, we can print a label. So, you know, very lean to use this system. So we're going to come back to the concept of pallets in just a couple minutes when we do a sales order picking. The next step we want to talk about is paperless. So part of the lean is that some people are going towards paperless picking. In this case, we're specifically talking about sales order. Okay, sales order picking. So we can certainly, there's no problem if we wanted to, you know, sometimes people want to do a paper picking, which is you get a pick list, and from this pick list, what we want to do is we want to pick it. So one sales order equals one pick list. So in this case, I'm actually taking it one step lower. So, and this is where a lot of people vary widely. You know, some people do wave picking, some people do one order equals one pick. There's a lot of different variations, and the flexibility within the O2 mobile warehouse makes about any possibility that you do very easy. So in this case, I'm going to illustrate a point. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use a sales order. So this concept is a one-to-one sales order to pick list. Okay, so what happened is I scanned the sales order, my smart barcode. It said, oh, this is a sales order, you want to go into pick it. Right, so if a pick list already wasn't in Mass 500 for this sales order, it would ask me if I want to create one on the fly. I could say sure. I can add picks, stage picks, and ship picks. Okay, one of the things that we do in O2 Mobile Warehouse is we do all the functions of Mass 500, but we also add some as well. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back to the same screen, but in a different way. So going back to my concept of paperless. The concept of paperless is that a person on a scanner actually has a work queue. So we actually have a pick manager within O2 Mobile Warehouse where people can assign picks and people can assign packs. Okay, so in this case, I'm actually uh, a picker. I'm going to pick some inventory. So I can actually check my assigned orders. Now, assigning orders can be a manual process where a warehouse manager says, okay, these 5 things are going to be picked by Evan and these 5 things are going to be picked by Taya. We can have it automatic. So kind of a queuing system where we have a stack of things that we want to pick, and I'm going to assign it out based on who needs a new pick. So you can see that we have options to do a sales order picking, sales order packing, transfer picking, transfer packing. So depending on your rights, you'll see maybe you'll only see 1 item on here, or maybe you'll see 2 items. So what I'm going to do, oops. Okay, you can see that there's no picks assigned. So what we'll do is we'll go into and we'll see that there's order number 141. And this is the manual method. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to assign the pick order to me. Okay. So now I can exit out of this, and hopefully when I go back to my sales order, I now have 1 pick assigned to me. Again, the concept of real time. So in this case, I did a manual assignment of a pick list to a picker. And from here, I can go in here, and I'm back in my screen where I can do my picking. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to add picks. Now, in this case, what I want to do is I want to assign everything that was on the pallet that we showed just a moment ago. So we see this a lot, especially in process manufacturing. We see this where people produce onto a pallet and then they inventory by pallet. And sometimes what people do is they pick by pallet, and then when they ship, they want to assign the entire pallet. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to scan the pallet, which is my smart barcode. The system said, oh, this is a pallet. Do you automatically want to backflush everything that's on this pallet onto the sales order? And here's what's on it. Here's 5 cases of this cranberry lemon. Yes. Okay. So it just assigned what was on that pallet. It verified it against the item. It verified it that the lot was good, and verified that the lot was not expired or didn't violate one of our rules. So once it went through that validating process, it said, okay, it's assigned. It's ready to go. Now we can stage picks. Like I said earlier, we actually add features onto Mass 500 Mobile, things that aren't in Mass 500. So one of the things that we're doing here is we can actually stage the picks. Now, since our prior concept was the concept of being live, if somebody grabs a pallet and moves it out to the staging dock for shipping, and somebody comes along and does a cycle count, they're going to say, hey, there's a problem with this bin. We don't want that. So what we can do is, as I make these picks, I can actually stage the picks. Okay, so I could stage the picks to the staging area. So now all these picks that I've done, in this case, this 1 pallet, gets moved into a staging area, and now my inventory in the warehouse is exactly correct. We can also do a packing process, but that's kind of out of the scope of what I wanted to talk about today. If I do a shipping process, what we'll do is we'll actually automatically generate the shipment for this pick list. It's going to go through the Mass 500 process, and then from here we'll be able to print out the bill of lading and packing slip from Mass 500. So this is very important. We actually use the pick list, I'm sorry, the bill of lading and pack list from Mass 500. Okay. If we need to record trailer numbers, pro numbers, seal numbers, etc., we can also do that. Okay, so that process is done. The last thing I want to show you on the lean is that within Mass 500 we have all the screens that you've seen today, the purchase order receiving, all the production, the movements, things like that. But what we can also do is you can create your own menus. You can create your own menus, and you can create your own screens, okay? Your own posting routines, okay? So what I've done here is for discrete manufacturing, where I can actually issue material, and this is actually a customized form. an end user, or actually somebody with a little bit of technical knowledge, can actually create their own forms that are presented on the barcode scanner, and you can define your own screens. So if there's a field that Mass Defender doesn't capture, let's say downtime, we can actually define the various fields that we want to capture. We can define the custom posting routine where it's supposed to hit, so the Mass Defender tables as well as any tables that you've defined, and you have your very own customized screen. Okay, so you can, in this case, I have 3 that I've actually completely modified, and so you can give your people exactly what they need, so to make their process lean.